The Houston Breakout update is a major return to form when it comes to Payday content. This is possibly the biggest update in terms of content for Payday 3, offering both free and paid content. Obviously, we have the paid content that we were expecting to get with the Season Pass. That content being the Houston Breakout heist, 3 guns, and a Tailor pack. Seems like standard stuff, but it's all the free content we got that really makes this a large update. We got a free heist, a free weapon, a new piece of equipment, a new game system, 2 new skills, and 3 masks. Not to mention some necessary changes, none of which are to ammo funnel, so don't worry. The ammo funnel and replenish builds are still intact, although I do not approve of the community's methods for securing it.
It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
Okay, so let's start off by talking about our new toys. This weapon pack might as well be called the Burst Weapon Pack because all 3 of them are burst fire weapons. We got the FAMAS, a burst pistol, and a burst shotgun. What? What the hell is this thing? Is it even real? Hold on, let me just check. Huh, I'll be damned. What the hell do you need a burst shotgun for unless you work for ATF? You know what, since we're already talking about it, let's start off with the weird shotgun. It starts off terrible, but as you unlock attachments, it improves significantly. The problem is that you have to be really close to your opponent to kill them. But once you start unlocking mods that can tighten that spread quite a bit, it really starts to become useful. If you ever wonder why it takes me so long to get my evaluations of updates out, well, it's because I like to do a lot of testing. I don't want to just give you guys my first impressions. I want to give you guys something that I know for a fact is true. Originally, I thought I preferred the FSA over this new shotgun. But after playing around with it for 5 days, I realize it's the other way around. As silly as it is, it's fantastic when it comes to crowds. It's also really good at taking down dozers, so if you don't like this weapon at first, give it a try or run it on some stealth builds just to level it up, get the mods you need, and then give it a try again. Another gun has a similar problem to the M7, and that's the FAMAS. This burst rifle has terrible recoil. The idea of having a 3-round burst is to help maintain accuracy, but this gun didn't get the memo. But once you start unlocking attachments that help compensate for the issue, it goes away for the most part. In fact, it becomes a very useful weapon. The FAMAS is the only assault rifle in the game that can currently shoot through the glass that the shields have before it's broken. You can kill them through the visor with just 1 burst if you land every shot. It'll take 2 once the heavier units come in though. I do struggle at times with crowds, but not terribly so. This could just be a me issue. One thing that's important to note though is that each round that you fire is lower than other assault rifles, so don't pay attention to that damage stat. I have no idea what's going on there, but it does not do that much damage. Just as a side note, Starbreeze, can we go back to numbers, please? It'll make it easier to understand what the hell's going on with these stats if we had some better system here. Lastly, there's the Pacino Duro 5. I think I mispronounced that, but it's just a Beretta. A burst pistol that I can easily say is a great alternative to the Bull Kick, Castigo, and Bison, substituting single target damage for more of a crowd control secondary. It's a weapon that I would recommend pairing up with a primary that's mostly single shot and high damage, like a sniper, SA, or even a pump shotgun. All around, great weapon and my favorite of the 3 DLC weapons. Now, as for that free gun, the Tribune 32. It sucks. I'm sorry, it's terrible. Maybe I'm doing something wrong, but I can't stand my ground with it. On overkill, it just kind of gets me in trouble. It feels like the old Ziv Commando. The pre-buff version. Back then, I said the Ziv Commando should be a secondary weapon, and this is what we would have gotten. I've talked to some high-ranking players about their thoughts on this gun, and they don't like it. But but I think on lower difficulties, it actually is fun to use. If I didn't have the weapon pack, I would probably use this pistol over the other non-revolvers. The high firing rate and large mag do give it a big leg to stand on for those who don't have the DLC, which is great. It's like a better Glock, but like the Glock, it struggles with heavy units. But hey, even the Beretta does too, to an extent. The best way that I found to make this thing work is to use it with skills that are great at stunning enemies. Because of the sheer amount of bullets you'll be putting down range, you're bound to knock everybody over, making this a great weapon for running and gunning or escaping a really bad situation. Give it a try and let me know what you think. I think it might work well under these circumstances. So now that we've gone over the new weapons, let's talk about where you're going to be using them. The two new heists. Both can be completed in either stealth or loud, which is always a huge plus. One of the maps, by the way, was apparently handled by a Payday 2 map making staple. Ilya. You might know him better as the sniper asset in Payday 2, and the mind behind Raid World War II, and who is currently watching over the 10 people working on updates for it. Which, by the way, I'm going to make a video talking about that update, and I will say, I got a lot of good things to say about it. Wouldn't mind hearing your thoughts on that one too. Maybe I'll put some of them in the video. Now, much like Boys in Blue and Syntax Error, the Houston Breakout outdoes the previous in some way. Syntax Error builds on concepts from the base game, and Boys in Blue feels closer to Payday 2, something that fans always want. Houston Breakout, while not as exciting and varied as Hoxton Breakout, is special in its own way. Hoxton Breakout was a 2-day heist where the gang intercepted Hoxton's transfer, then had to watch over the armored vehicle transporting him, and then raid an FBI building. Here, the gang's crashing the courtroom to get Dallas's brother back. Unfortunately, Houston broke his hands fighting the judge, so he won't be joining you in the shootout, or be playable until the next update according to the new roadmap. Which is a shame, but this update is packed full of content already, so I'm not complaining. Besides, we just got Clover with the last update, so gotta pace that stuff out a little bit, right? Now, if you're stealthing, there are several ways to get to the heart of the courthouse. Like, just the main entrance alone has 2 ways through it. You can either flip the right switches or climb through the air duct and shoot out the power supply behind them. There's also a way through the basement that you can take. Now, the payout may not be as good as other maps, but that's because you're here to steal Houston, not money. But there is evidence for you to steal or destroy. You might be wondering, why would you want to destroy the evidence? Well, the answer is if you're trying to speed run. It's a lot faster to get the map done if you destroy it rather than steal it. But me, I'm going to be looting that stuff every time, with the exception of the time I did for the footage I needed for this video. Now, the evidence is where a lot of the RNG for this level comes into play. You see, there are 2 types of evidence, digital and physical. First off, you don't know which one you're going to need. In order to get the all bags bonus, you will have to steal both, but there's only one that's required to finish the heist. On top of not knowing which of the 2 you're going to need, you don't know what kind of lock they're going to have on the doors. There are 3 that it could be. It could be either fingerprint, keypad, or key card. So that's actually pretty cool. I wish they had more RNG though. If you have a keypad, you can use it even when it's loud, but the other 2, you're gonna hack or drill your way through it. So sometimes it's best to do a little bit of stealth before going loud. I do wish that this map had more RNG though. Like, an easy place to put it is make the locations of the switches move around a bit. The 4 switches will always be in the exact same spot. While the colors of the switches that you need to flip are going to change, the placement of the switches are always going to be the same. I think that's a simple thing that they could have added some level of RNG to. Now, the biggest tip I can give for this level is that I recommend starting off by trying to get into the courtroom before going loud. It's not that hard to do. Just get past the metal detectors, steal a press badge off of someone, and then go to the pews on the 2nd floor. This way, you don't have to worry about drilling through into the courtroom and eating up a lot of time. You'll already be able to start off in the room, and that'll take care of a big part of the heist. By the way, a little bit of advice, there's always a donut by the judge's stand, and yes, you can use this gavel. I would also recommend before going loud to check what you need to open the 2 evidence room and determine if you want to open them beforehand. Other than that, I think it's a fantastic heist to add to the roster, and I'm really happy with what they put out here. I've already played this heist quite a bit, and I have not gotten tired of it, which is always a good sign. Like, I got tired of Road Rage after playing it like the 10th or 12th time, but here, after like 20 times playing it, I'm still good. I want to keep going. I want to play it some more. Now let's move on to the second heist, which I don't have as much to say about, which makes sense. It's honestly a very simple heist in comparison. Not that that means that it's bad, it's just, well, let's get into it and you'll see. The second heist, which is completely free, is the Diamond District. This is a spiritual successor to 4 stores, but this time it's 5 stores. Ooh.
Daring today, aren't we?
Honestly though, it's a fun heist. Now, I actually really liked 4 stores on Payday 2. I don't know why. I think it's because it just feels inner city kind of bit to it. I don't know how to describe it, but I like 4 stores more than I should. And that love for 4 stores does transfer here. This is a really good map with a lot of fun small details. Like if you're stealthing, you can use this generator to create a mist so that way you can hide while you cross the street when your mask is on. On top of that, when we talk about the RNG in this level, there is quite a bit of it. The location of the bag drop-off point has several locations that it can be. The machine that you put the bag jewels in so that way they get all cleaned up and their value increases also changes. There's also a special diamond that has several places that it can be. But all the other loot stays the same. And with that said, there is so much quick loot to pick up, it's not funny. Trying to get all of it while being shot at is a challenge. Also, I'm just gonna say it, quick loot isn't as satisfying or rewarding to steal. There are like 14 bags of jewels in this heist to steal, but the rest of it is all quick loot, baby. It is a lot of quick loot. You think I'm not exaggerating here, huh? Well, guess what? It's double digits, man. All right, we're like 200 on this. Almir did mention during a live stream that they might have to make some changes to quick loot so that way the player knows how much each piece is worth. You know, like in Payday 2. I think that'll help, but I'm not sure if that's gonna be a complete fix. Right now, I don't really have much motivation to go for and grab them. I mean, I'm sure the amount here is worth quite a bit if I grab every piece. And sure, if I see the loot in front of me while I'm shooting at some cops, I'm gonna grab what I can, right? But I'm interested to know what you think should be done to make the quick loot feel a lot more rewarding. And also, let me know if you've managed to snag every piece of quick loot on this level, because that's a challenge in itself. Just trying to keep track of where you have and haven't been, and what you have and haven't grabbed is difficult. But all in all, it's a fun map, and I'm really proud of the work that you guys did on this one. Good job, Starbreeze. 2 great maps, and thank you, Ilya. If you're watching this video for whatever reason, thank you. I hope you're doing well. Oh wait, there's one last thing I do want to mention. It's a very large map, and if you've seen my top 10 Payday 2 heists video, then you'll know I love me some large maps. Also, I love it when you can fully stealth a heist without having to put on your mask. That's not something that I require every level to do, but it's something that I very much enjoy when I can do it. Then we have the new feature available to all players, which allows you to pick up and hold on to first aid kits and armor repair kits. Unfortunately, they did nerf the first aid kits, so the armor repair kits are definitely superior to them now. I've found some great uses for this feature. I typically run an adrenaline build and have the skill clean slate. This makes armor repair kits incredibly useful, and now even more so. The most annoying thing to me in Payday 3 is that when you're revived, you have no armor and little health. This means that if your teammate isn't running combat medic or don't have grit available to them when they revive you, the odds of you going down again soon after are high. But now, if you have clean slate and a repair kit in your pocket, you can quickly eat it and not have to worry as much. You'll have some armor back. As for the new tool, we get a trip laser, which marks enemies that pass through it, whether they're special or not. Now, this may not seem useful initially, but if you think about the skills you can combine them with, then you'll really see its uses. Skills like combat marking, threat assessment, and misdirect, all 3 under the strategist skill line, are very useful with this. There's also killer kinesthetics, which I think I pronounced incorrectly, and the new and improved assassin's medal, both found under the assassin's skill line. These 5 skills will really take advantage of the trip laser's ability. Put it down a nice choke point and then make it so that way anything that comes through there is gonna be useless against you. Now, while I like the trip laser, I do have 3 problems with it, and all of which are very easily fixable in an update. First off, I wish I was able to hold more than one of these. 2 of them I think I could get quite a bit of use out of. Second, there's currently a bug where it looks like it might be a client-side issue, but what happens is that the laser seems to disappear. It's only a visual glitch though, it still works perfectly fine, and I can see my friends, but I can't see my own. And this works vice versa versa as well. They can see mine, but they won't be able to see their own. And the third one is an audio bug that happens with cloakers. If you ever hear a cloaker sound effect seems like it's glitching out, that's because of the laser tripwire. I'm sure the two bugs will be fixed in the next update, but I really hope they do add a second one for us to carry around. I'm sure I could use some skills that let me pick up the one that I placed down, but I feel like it'd be much better just to have two to begin with. And speaking of skills, let's go over the new ones and the changes we've had to the old ones. The two new skills are Headhunter under Sharpshooter, which is kind of like an ammo funnel and replenish substitute, and the other skill is Lock and Load, found under Gunslinger. This skill puts ammo directly into your unequipped weapon before adding it to your reserves. It's a fun skill, and one that makes a lot of sense for Gunslinger builds, which are all about switching between two weapons. As for the changes, Precision under Sharpshooter has changed. Demolitionist will now also apply to flashbangs, which will make it a lot easier to get more hostages, which is a good thing because of that first aid change, which by the way has changed from giving you 25% of your max HP to a flat 25 HP. This change was made to kind of nerf adrenaline builds. Thankfully, it doesn't affect medkits though. Now, speaking of adrenaline builds, a lot of the skill changes were made specifically to nerf that build. Now, normally I'd be upset about this, like when Helldivers 2 gets another nerf to a popular thing, but here I think it makes perfect sense. Adrenaline was, and still is, super overpowered and actually did need to be nerfed. It made the game too easy when you played with it. Unlike Fire, which is already neutered because of the host only getting the burn effects until they fixed it with the same update that nerfed it. What the hell are you guys doing over there? Right, Payday 3, sorry. I just need to get that out of my system. If you feel like your adrenaline builds aren't as effective as they once were, now you know why. One last thing that they added that I honestly love that they did is the daily challenges. Completing dailies not only gets you some IP, but it also gets you 30 C stacks, which is quite a bit for how much they can get expensive later on. I was actually struggling to keep up with getting C stacks on a weekly basis because of how much I was spending on just those weekly masks. But now I feel like I can actually build up a decent supply. And the challenges themselves are not something that's going to take you a long time to complete, but they are enjoyable to do, and that's what's important. You don't ever want your game to feel like work. And that's it. That's all I wrote for you. I'll be attending PAX 2024 in Seattle, so if you see me there, flag me down. I'd love to meet you. Other than that, subscribe for more Payday content coming up. I got several videos and shorts on the way, so until next time, drink plenty of water, and as always, I love you!